Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing, everybody? Oh, excuse me. So today I am finishing up RB's retopo. Just finishing up the hands. And hopefully we can get into some UVing and texturing. Plan to go at least 2 hours, hopefully. A little tired. It's been a long week. I was actually in New York. I mean, it was a nice vacation and everything, but a lot of walking and everything. Got back last night at like 2:30, I think. Back in Cleveland. So hopefully, but we should have some fun tonight. So all right, let's get back to work here. Let's make this live. And let's clear my history here. It's just good to do that for anybody who doesn't know. Honestly, I'm not even sure if it's that big of a deal because at least when I first started doing Maya, clearing your history was good just because of RAM issues and crashing and everything, and it's probably still good to do on occasion. And basically, it's like your undos and there's a bunch of stuff into it, but memory-wise, I don't know if it's really that big of a deal, if it really caused that much of an issue anymore. Back when we were dealing with just like 2 gigs of RAM, it was a pain. But now, I mean, I got 32 gigs of RAM in this thing, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. All right. Hopefully, the stream should be doing well. I had to change some settings. Okay. Just checking. Hands and fingers are always fun to do. So I'm going to be honest. Most of I haven't done a character actually in quite a while. This is one of the first ones I've done in a while. And so I'm a little rusty. So we're going to work through this together. Most of my 3D work has more to do with environments and objects, buildings and the like is a lot of what I've done professionally. Vehicles and whatnot. So retopologizing character has a little bit of its own little challenges. Eventually I'm going to split this right down the middle here through all these fingers just to give it a little bit extra. Our characters for our game, it might not actually even be all that necessary. Actually, it might change up how I did this here. Move this around a little bit. Bring this up. I don't need the characters to be super high res considering what we're dealing with. And you'll see once we get further in the game, but it's going to be a little bit more of a top-down-ish view. And to anybody joining, hello. I'm Joe. I am a project manager and a 3D artist for Endless Terminal, and I'm drinking G Fuel right now. There we go. Yeah, basically ignore that little piece. That was so the way we have the hands in the sculpt here, I'll show you. You see with the actual like sculpt, it's kind of hidden underneath inside of the shirt. By the way, this is part of our main character, or not our main character. Sorry, I don't know why I said that, but of one of our characters. He is a little boy, and he kind of wears this heavy garb. You'll just see why eventually. Keep that a little bit of a secret for now, but in the sculpt it kind of went underneath there, so it was just kind of a little accident that didn't really tell until I started breaking this down. But it's not that big of a deal because we're just going to ignore it anyways. In the retopo, it's not a big deal. Even in normal maps, when I bring that over, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. So, kind of have this feel for characters. If you haven't noticed, they're going to have kind of more, instead of like perfectly rounded fingers, their sides of their fingers are going to be a little more flat. Kind of give a little bit artistic choice. One thing I like doing with some of these newer tools in Maya, I say newer, it might have been introduced in the last one. I kind of have a habit of skipping years. I think even 2019 might be out. It should be out. I'm using 2018. I forget what year it is. Right now I'm just kind of trying to even out the geometry. I can relax the geometry a little bit, kind of make it a little using device. Oh, hey, buddy. Come on, Shredder. Sorry, my dog came in the room. Hey. Why don't you go lay down? I had the door cracked. You push it open. Something that you always want to do with your geometry is kind of help like reinforce around bends. So make sure you have, normally the minimum we say for basically bends and creases is normally three loops going through, so 1, 2, 3, and then you can kind of skip for a while, kind of like that. So this needs to come over here to kind of give it a little bit smoother. Something kind of got lost there. Because of the shape that I need. Honestly, even for what we need, this might end up being a little higher res, but if I need to, we can always work down. It's always easier to go lower res from what you have than it is to go higher res. Almost with any digital art, it's always easier to do that. Because basically, it's just a simple principle of the more detail you have, it's a lot easier to lose the detail that's not necessary than it is to try and add on later. Thing is with relax, like whenever you're trying to do something a little bit more artistic, trying to, you know, use your polygons to your advantage, it kind of has a habit of because it basically likes to evenly space stuff out, smooth it out, so it's not always the happiest about that. Again, I'm probably going to add more anyways. Where was I? Anyways, feel free to anybody who's coming in here, feel free to chat with me, take any questions, and just generally BS with you. Want to talk 3D? You even want to criticize what I'm doing? That's fine. Any pointers or anything? Like I said, this is actually the first character I'm trying to do retopologizing with Maya's built-in tools. I've never done it before, so it's so we're learning here. Out to about here. Probably could have grabbed the line, but whatever. Here's where we get a little bit interesting. How am I gonna cap this off? Okay. I just realized I have an extra line in here. Don't need that. Thought something was off. Just took me a second to realize it. There we go. Fix that issue. Thanks, Shelby. I am drinking Type 0. It's a Code Vein sponsored one. Protagonist. It is it's a fruit fusion one, and it doesn't really say specifically, but I have a feeling the main flavor, at least that I'm tasting, is passion fruit. At least that's my guess. Also, old man hands. He's had a rough life. I mean, he might only be 8 years old or so, but rough life. Or yeah, I mean, even if you're watching this on on YouTube, leave comments if you have any suggestions on anything. Yeah, just because it makes me feel better. Add a little bit extra loop in here. I have a feeling I have an extra loop in here somewhere too. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I do. It's that one. Let's get rid of that. Smooth this out. I'll add that in later, just for a little bit extra definition. But just for sake of my retopologizing and to keep my geometry uniform, just so I can keep it mental notes of it, I'm going to keep it down a little bit, and then I'll add more detail in later. Anybody using this, the shortcut I was using there is Control Shift. I can move a whole edge loop. Honestly, I just figured it out. I was like looking, I'm like, I'm going to try this to see if it deletes it or moves it. Okay, it's a learning process. Out a little bit. Move this down. Feels. Oh, which is harder, hands or feet? For this character, the feet were a lot easier, but he's wearing shoes. That was, so normally, in most cases, when you're 3D modeling, and there's his eyeballs. I forgot to hide them, but whatever. And the button. So in most cases you'll have shoes on, so normally that's easier. Um, Again, depending on how complex the shoes or whatever are and what you're going for, but hands normally are typically harder. If you're going actually full digits with the toes and everything, I actually kind of want to say feet might be a little bit harder. One, because the way feet move compared to hands, like at least for me, like maybe it's because I'm used to how hands move, because you're always looking at your hands, so you kind of get the skeletal breakdown a lot easier. Where feet have a lot of weird, more bends and like the way they can. I don't know. It's just a little bit odder to me. And also, when you're dealing with toes, normally hands you model more out, more space, so it makes it easier to see what you're doing. Where toes are normally more together, and there's even you kind of have to model it that way, so it makes getting in there and separating them harder. But luckily, like I said, most of the time people wear shoes. And if you notice in a lot of video games, they very rarely actually model in the full feet. It's just be kind of silly to do. I want to move this up just a little bit. Oh, Pinky is a little bit weird, especially on this, the way he's a little bit more characterized, so I gotta really think of where his bend will be. Yeah, you probably don't see characters with bare feet very often. The only ones I could think of where they might have modeled in the full toes would be in something like I think Beyond Two Souls. It's probably one of the few I can think of off the top of my head. Detroit might have did it too, but like I know it's a little bit older. I know definitely last time I was playing Skyrim, they definitely didn't. They were really ugly feet. Yeah, middle click is the move it. Control Shift middle click. Okay, because not tab. Now. Relax that just a little bit. Because on Pinky, the bend is a lot closer than it is in the rest of the fingers. I mean, like proportionately, looking at your finger, it is as far, but it's just because your pinky's shorter, so. Thing is, I'm probably gonna have to add like an extra loop in here to kind of help with that. Ew, that didn't do what I wanted at all. Relax, 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 relax. Like, it's almost like something you are telling yourself when it's like not going exactly where you want. You're like, just relax. And it's okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Want this at least to the left of the fingernail. Now, in theory, I should be able to do that. And we had an edge loop go all the way around. Now, hopefully we'll see. Hopefully, I'm trying to think of the deformation and everything when we actually animate him. He kind of has a little bit stubby of hands compared to a normal human with his proportions, so I'm hoping it shouldn't be too big of an issue. I want that. I feel like this is a little weird. I feel like I messed something up here. Loop, loop, loop. I don't know why I was seeing it as like this huge. Ah. I just did that. What the hell? Why am I... for some reason, something doesn't feel right here. You know what it is? It's the way this is spaced. That's the issue. Fixed it. It's the only thing I don't like about that, but I think it'll be fine in the end. Your edge flow is really important, but there's a certain point when you just gotta ignore it. Mostly when you're dealing with lower res things. I don't like that. Because I definitely want to keep the mound in his hand. Okay, we're gonna have to split that just so that it runs a little bit more even. No, there we go. Now I am gonna do this. Or do I want to do that? Come on. Do the thing. Do the thing. Screw it. We're doing the thing. This way. Just to kind of give it a little bit of that bend anyways. Okay, let's even this out a little bit.